Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Rogan Radio. Tonight we have a full house in the house, as you can tell. We have Real Shoot Wrestling. I got it right that time. We got it right. We have
Too sweet.
Todd in the house. We have Chad Puccio. We have Jimmy Wisniewski is not here tonight, but we do have Jeremy Duckworth. We have Todd Beck. We have Aaron as the director over there. And we also have the hidden 120. We're going to call him 120 No Peaches tonight. Mark Hoppy's in the house.
120 No Peaches.
120 No Peaches.
Is he 120 proof?
Where is that 120?
Is he 120 proof?
Where is the West Virginia water at?
I think it's probably gone.
Well, I tell you what, that stuff is brutal.
I don't know who drank it.
Now, we just finished the social hour, which turned out to be a very lively conversation. And then we went outside for the post party.
Yes, we did.
And after that, everybody was outside. We're kind of recalculating what happened. I come in the bathroom. I come in the house, go to the bathroom, and I hear this explosion like I've never heard. I was thinking, whoa, somebody's mowing the grass out in the backyard and something backfired. But in reality, I think somebody let off a stick of dynamite.
If you're in the bathroom and you hear an explosion, it might come out your ass.
I think it was a quarter stick of dynamite, actually.
It had to be something like really high grade.
From China.
You don't have to mow around that tree no more, buddy.
I'll tell you what,
good for you.
It's done.
The weed eating.
If it scared everything out of here, that's fantastic. Once again, though, Jimmy's not here this week for the mere fact that he's in Ohio for some
the Furries convention, right?
He is, and he's doing some exactly. He's doing some mine safety training, so hopefully everything goes smooth for Jimmy.
Good for you, Jim.
And but this week, though, filling in, we have Jeremy Duckworth.
Hello.
Ducko! And Jeremy is a big Ghostbusters fan. This weekend, the new Ghostbusters movie came out.
He loves it.
I got to get some Ghostbusters.
Todd actually went and watched the Ghostbusters. See, did you like it today or not?
You know what? Good movie.
Maybe you should turn on the Fallout Boy version of it.
That's not saying much, though, coming from Todd. It's really not.
Listen, Jeremy,
Do not listen to Todd.
We take all credit away from Todd.
You need to.
Well, Todd was
I'm
a
not gonna
savage
watch
at the
it,
social
dude.
hour,
I'm
so
telling you.
I was going to say, if you watch Todd during the social hour, you'd know that nobody's going to give him any credit whatsoever anymore.
Yeah, he's working
Hey,
on
our
number
new
10.
best friend here.
Sad. Ghostbusters was a good movie. I don't know who's giving it a bad rep.
You're just all you're doing is promoting
everybody
feminism.
else in here.
There's
and
4
about
women
half a
that's in the
billion
movie
people.
give it a bad rep.
There are 4 women in it, and it's different than the 4 men. But you know what? There's some good cameos in it, Jeremy. There's some good cameos in this movie.
That just makes them bigger traders.
That's right.
I mean, they must
sold
have,
out.
They must have their stamp of approval. They must endorse this movie.
That doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah,
That's right.
You know,
Still
money
good.
buys stamps every day. You know that just as well as anybody else.
I got nothing.
I mean, they're hurting.
Yeah,
so
you're
bad.
not going to get anything
Well, they're
either. I
hurting
turned
so
that down
bad,
there
they
last
had to
time.
get
We'll fix it
Thor.
next time.
They had to get Thor to play Janine's part.
I thought
in
that
the
was
original.
Thor's brother, though.
No, that's actual Thor.
that's
great.
Thor.
Great, he just downgraded. I won't up watching that Thor movie. Then.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what
going to
I'm
watch
saying.
that Thor
So I
movie.
never liked those movies anyway. I'm not a really big, because to me they're almost kind of cheesy to an extent. I'm thinking of I want something.
Ghostbusters?
No, like the Marvel flicks.
Marvel.
Yeah.
He's not a Marvel.
I am not. No, I did like Deadpool.
Oh, no,
I-
we're going
oh,
to
Deadpool
not
like
get along now.
Deadpool's savage, and
I'm
I loved it.
I've
You
got
want
them all.
Savage? I
you-
hate all things superhero.
Chad, you love the Marvel flicks.
Wait a minute. Now we're stepping on bad
I don't
territory
care.
here.
I don't care. I don't care what anybody
Hey,
says.
not just Marvel. I got DC at the house too.
I
Yeah.
hate everything superhero.
I got the Superman, the Batman.
Hulk
and then-
Hogan was a superhero. to
See,
me.
my thing is that sometimes though they
Ninja Turtles. I'm
with,
cool with that.
what was I can't remember it, like we'll say with Thor in particular, it was like I just can't. I wanted more of a badass. I think that's what I think.
I don't know.
I don't know what I was expecting. Though.
Actually, if you read the comic books and stuff like that, they actually done a pretty good job as far as trying to tell the story and actually who he became.
See, I think that's the problem that I have is that I'm looking at it more from a movie than everything I've seen because I never read the comic books. So when it came to trying to figure out now if it was a Star Wars flick, I could say okay, well I know the Star Wars comics, so they kept everything pretty close to how things are supposed to be. But when it comes to Thor, on the other hand,
This guy's got some talent, let me tell you.
I would never know that this movie
guy's
is
got
really
every
true.
theme song
You know
on
what I
lock.
mean?
Well, you got to realize I went to a Catholic school and I was an only kid, so all I had was comic books.
Right. So you would know.
What kind of
You would
comic
know.
books did you have?
Well, I like the Betty and Veronica's.
I'm not even sure I know what what that is.
I'm going to tell you this now, Rogan. Mark my word. The next big one is going to be Suicide Squad.
I'm already getting
Yes.
tickets to go to midnight premiere on that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
telling
that.
you.
I will
It's
call
gonna
off
be up
work
there.
to see that one. I will call off work the next day to see the midnight showing.
That's going to be a good one. I think a RoganRadio should go see that.
It's
Dude,
gonna, it's going
let's
to
do-
quadruple. I'm telling you. Everybody that likes the new Ghostbusters, Todd,
Feminism.
they're going to blow that.
If-
They're going to blow their money
A
out of the
like
water.
for the new Ghostbusters to me is you're supporting feminism. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Just
I
can't
like
do it.
chicks, man. I dig chicks.
I'm not.
The girl that sells the insurance is on there.
Wait a
Really?
minute. Now, wait a minute. You're telling me you
Who's
dig
that?
chicks,
I love chicks.
and you're watching
Jackie.
this Melissa McCarthy chick on there,
Yeah.
and you're telling me you're giving
Now
me
hold on,
shit
now
all the
hold
time.
on, now hold on, now hold on.
Is that her name?
Yes,
Yes.
but let me tell you, out of all of them, she's the only one that's fucking entertaining.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, she's actually the funny one out of the group.
She was on SNL, and that was one of the best episodes I've seen in like the past 5 years.
Yeah, but she has that dumb. It's
No,
dumb
I'm not
humor.
saying I'm
It's
not
dumb.
saying her by herself should make the whole movie good. I'm not
That's
saying
right.
that.
No.
But I'm saying if you're going to leave anyone out of it, let's leave her out of it.
But now,
Melissa McCarthy?
And plus, there's nothing wrong with her. I mean, the bigger the cushion, the better the pushing. is what
but
they say.
who's the big the big black chick with the flat top?
All I know is
You mean
from
the one
All
that's
State
scary?
Commercial.
You
I think she's hilarious.
Oh,
She
she's
needs
scary.
a weave.
She's scary and she annoys the shit out of me.
She needs some extensions.
See, I think she's hilarious.
See, at any point in time, I feel like she could dunk on me, beat me up, or take my wallet.
She could do all of those things.
At the same time, probably.
Without a
Absolutely.
weave.
But
Absolutely.
I've never laughed at her.
I can't take her seriously. I just can't.
I don't even know who she is.
She's nobody.
It's not
she's
a big
nobody.
deal. I mean, she's on SNL now, and she's
Well,
done
see,
some
I
movies.
can't stand that. I can't. I just can't.
SNL?
I can't. No way.
The new
No,
stuff?
No, any of it. Well, I don't have
90s
I don't have
SNL will always be
Wait a
better.
minute,
anything-
now.
Here's some more toes. Here's some more toes.
No, hold on now. Not very many great ones. I mean, now unless you're going way back.
Okay.
Now,
90s.
way back.
90s, 80s, and late 70s was the great SNL period.
Yeah, I can't stand the people that like have to scream to be funny. The only one that pulled that off was Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
No.
That's it. Oh yeah.
Well, that's kind of like
yeah.
Melissa McCarthy's
I don't
kind
know.
of like a
What's his-
female.
But she's not as funny as Chris Farley.
Chris Farley's good, but there was times
Sam
when he didn't
Kinison.
have
was.
Sam. That who
Sam
said that?
Kinison.
Sam Kinison, yeah.
Sam Kinison.
Yes, that's who I was going to say. He is the original.
Screamer.
Bill Hicks as well.
How about
from time
Bobcat?
to time.
Bobcat Cole or Goldthwait.
Okay, but anything outside of Police Academy, what did
Oh, I
you
couldn't
do?
tell you anything
Are
about
you kidding me?
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? He has the best scene in the movie Blow. It's hilarious when he's like, "Hey, do you care if I test this?" And he tests it. About 5 minutes later, no one even knows he's there. He goes, "I can't feel my face." Like I can't feel my face.
Was that Bobcat?
that was my favorite scene in that
Bobcat?
movie. Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes, I've never seen it.
You know why he talks like that, don't you?
I have no idea. Well,
He's
he
deaf.
wears
Can't
headphones
hear.
all the time.
He's deaf.
Oh, is he? I didn't know
He wears
that.
headphones all the time.
No, he's deaf. He can't hear.
No kidding.
endorses music.
He endorses Sony.
Honestly, I read
I
that.
didn't know that.
I
I
read
didn't
that.
know
That's
that.
why
I
he
didn't
is the
know
way
that.
he is. He's deaf.
What's the open for Ghostbusters this week? It's going to be what, 40 million maybe? 30 million, 40 million, something like that?
Let's Google it.
You looked it up the other day. What was it? 18 just for Friday and part of Saturday.
Yeah, because
To me, I think that's a bomb.
Now here's what's funny is it cost 144 million to actually make the movie, but then when all this backlash started, they had to spend another $100 million in PR. So they spent 244 on this movie. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
To have to recoup.
And the YouTube video was so poorly done, and like the trailer for it was like the worst rated movie trailer of all time.
You know what? Is that because of the diehards? Is that why they're giving it so much
Oh, of
shit? That
course.
YouTube
Of
stuff.
Absolutely.
The
Of course
diehards.
it is.
Diehards is what's killing this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But now Paul Fig, we talked
Now,
about
Paul
this.
Fig,
he did not help it. He went on his own Twitter account and he basically told all the old, the guys like us that loved the original,
Right.
just to basically screw off, piss on you.
Right.
You can't do that if you're trying to make money.
Well, I mean that's the whole thing. You don't want to burn your bridges.
And he did.
You know,
He did that himself.
See, that's what. How about
the original box office numbers from the original Ghostbusters is $295 million. That's what's grossed. That's why I got here.
That's over a bunch of years, though.
Yeah, that thing's been out for 30 years.
Yeah, but back then, how much?
32.
But if you're going to adjust for inflation, that might be $700 million.
Yeah,
Exactly.
let's also look at how much movies cost back then and how much it was to get into the movie.
Yeah.
True.
And what was it? What I mean, you originally went and saw it, didn't you? In the theaters?
No, I was 3.
Actually, he went and saw it. Actually,
it came out in '84.
My
right?
kids.
Right.
So you're looking at what the movie theaters was somewhere around $275.
Right in there.
$3.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is
Now you can't go.
No, we did go watch it.
$12.
Well, that's what's funny. Just about a month ago or so, Jeremy had never seen, the biggest Ghostbuster fan on the planet, had never seen it on the silver screen that came up to Cinemark up in Bridgeport.
Right.
And we went and see it, so he could actually see that movie
On
the
the
theater.
big screen.
And,
Yeah,
I loved it. Just tractor beam.
But now listen. Now this is something else. Let me ask you this question, and then now Chad's going to be a good one for this. Superman the motion picture, the very first one.
Ooh, here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, good movie or bad movie? Because you were alive when it came out.
Wait.
For its time.
No. Wait, Chad was there. He knows.
No, wait a minute.
Let me put my input in real quick before
I'll
you
put
answer
it to
this.
you like this. I was little at the time. I'm only
Yeah.
40. Okay.
Right.
I will say that I loved it at the time.
At the
but
time.
if you had
At
to
the
go
time. But now let me tell you something. Here recently, I've been able to start building my DVD collection, my Blu-ray collection, and everything. And I did buy the 5-disc CD set with all the original Superman with Christopher Reeves,
Right.
and then the new Superman with whatever this Joker's name is.
Yeah.
It's Henry Cavill, by the way.
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Okay.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Steel.
I will put it to you like this. They are cheesy to watch now.
Oh, they're hard to watch.
Now they are very, very hard to watch.
When you see when
Especially on number 4 with
Quest for Peace, by the way.
the black Richard Pryor.
No, that
was number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was number 3.
Number 3. Yeah, that one was really hard to watch.
See, that's like, for me, like a Battlestar Galactica. I loved Battlestar Galactica.
The original series.
Okay, but then when I go back and watch it right now, I'm like, I cannot watch this stuff.
That's hard.
And it's another example, Ultraman. When I was growing up, I used to watch.
I never heard of Ultraman till you guys talked about it.
Oh my God! Listen, I loved Ultraman. I loved Ultraman.
You and me both, man.
In my mind, though, is a lot different than in reality, because now I can't. What the worst thing I ever did was go to YouTube and YouTube Ultraman and actually see what I was watching
I
back
heard
when.
the commentary. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're tearing this thing apart.
It's
It
horrible.
was just bad.
I've never seen Ultraman before. That's the first time I think I've ever seen him on the screen, and it was just. I said, "How do you watch that?"
But a
shit?
lot of it, but that
was high tech back in the
Oh, I guess it was.
Well,
yeah.
what it is
Mark
the first
Murphy
time that
with the
you're seeing
defender of it.
stuff. The first time that you're seeing the stuff brand new coming to the movies or coming on to the like $6 Million Man.
Oh,
How
yeah.
many of us
Steve
watched
Austin.
$6 Million Man?
Steve Austin, the original Steve Austin before Steve Austin came
I was
around.
born in 81, so.
But you know what?
Oh, yeah.
But you know
Oh,
what?
listen.
And Chad brings up a good point, though, because you see a lot of these movies and how movies have progressed with time based on technology. And that is a testament to movies that have stood the test of time, say like a 2001.
Right.
You watch 2001 now, and it's almost like, how did they even make that movie?
And listen, that was made in 168
Something like
before Star Wars came out. That movie.
that. Oh
was
yeah,
made.
about 10 years.
Yeah.
The one
forgot
thing that
about
I
that.
have noticed, though, it's certain movies that need the CGI. That's what makes the originals look bad.
Well, Ghostbusters was
CGI
just
in 3D.
chock full of CGI,
Yeah.
and they did a really good job.
But here's the
though.
thing, though. You go with over all the movies that are made. How many of them where the reboot is better? You can count them on one hand.
Yeah, there's not a lot that are there, but as far as the
We've
effects
talked.
go,
Yeah,
We've
I can't really even think of any really reboots that
RoboCop.
RoboCop, Judge Dredd,
that
perhaps.
was a good one. Judge
Yeah,
Dredd was
RoboCop
good.
was good.
Yeah.
What was the other one? The original was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see a
No, that was
commando.
good.
I want to see a Commando remake.
Shut
There's some good horror movies that have
A couple
that have
Amityville
been,
horrors.
Yeah, but what's funny is people was like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see that movie," and you're like, that's a remake, right? And they're like, "Oh, I had no clue."
Oh, you go back and watch some Friday the 13th stuff.
Yes.
And it's just like, no way. I was not really scared of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually
But you
making
were.
another one, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah,
They're
this is
making a
number
new one of
13.
that. They're making a brand new. This will be the third Halloween.
Right.
Yep.
There's a new one coming out. There's a new.
You can't.
I think that's.
I think that's actually gonna be pretty
gonna
good.
be the new
Yeah.
big reboot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
Halloween.
That was Rob Zombie, and he is horrible.
It.
I'm sorry.
The new Stephen
Rob
King.
Zombie
Oh,
needs
okay.
to
Oh,
stick
no
to
way.
making
Yeah.
music.
No way.
Oh, White Zombie, yeah, but him making those Halloween movies, come on.
I have
it
to
was to
admit,
give you
I
a-
liked his version of Halloween.
It was
Oh,
to get-
so did I.
He didn't try
So
to
did I.
match it. He was just doing his own.
He
it was a different
interpreted
look
it.
It's
into it.
hard not to try to match it, though. That's the thing. When you've seen the original and
But when
you
it's
watch
so
something
good, why
new,
do it? Why try to match that?
Yeah,
This
why
gave
do
you
you wanna
more
make
of
something
a,
the
this gave
same?
you more of the psychology
Then
part
why
of
call
it.
it the same name? Why not give it a different name?
It's just from a different person's point of view, is what it was.
If you notice, there's way
I
more.
guarantee you, you look at Money Made on those movies.
There's way
and
more-
it's love.
The original Halloween.
Yeah, you're not going to beat
Let me tell you
those.
something.
You're not
They-
going to Jamie Lee
The
Curtis.
original Halloween, they only spent what?
I'm not big on horror.
$3,000
so I can't say much
on
about
Hey,
it.
listen, it's like the
Maybe.
Blair Witch. Listen, what the bad in 20 years from now they're going to make a remake of the Blair Witch Project,
And that
or,
wasn't even
oh.
planned to be a fucking movie.
No, hell no. Or what was the Paranormal Activity? That's another one that costs like
yeah.
$5 to make. And you know what?
Good.
That
I
thing,
like
yeah,
that.
but
I
they-
like
but
that.
they kept
That
going.
stuff gave me nightmares, dude.
Oh, no doubt.
I can't do that.
But
no
they've
more.
kept going now to where the Paranormal Activity is a joke.
but you know what? Let
Yep.
me tell you.
It's dumb
Yep.
to watch.
Let me tell you one of the best movies ever is Final Destination Part 2.
Two.
Absolutely.
I
You
cannot
haven't
follow
even watched
behind
the
a
last
logging
one.
truck anymore. I
Oh,
have to give
man.
myself, like,
Or how about this?
Oh
Better
no!
yet.
When I get behind a log truck, I'm like, "Oh, we're passing, hun."
Or how about this?
I don't give a damn if we got to go 90. We're getting past this something.
And let me tell you something.
Got that right.
The next time if the first
I see the strap waving. I see the strap waving. I know that. I seen the movie. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus,
Listen, if I'm ever in an accident, right, and a firefighter comes up with the jaws of life, I'm going to tell him to get the hell away from me, because man, that was brutal. When that airbag went off and her head went down there on that PVC pipe, I was like,
Spoiler
yes.
No, Jesus, no. Oh.
I was like,
if
this
they
is
haven't seen that by
fantastic.
now, they're not going to.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I love
Final
it.
Destination 2's been out for a while.
You
If
haven't watched the
seen it.
last one yet.
No,
have
I
you?
still haven't watched
Now
the very
last
last
Final
one.
Destination. I'm telling you, I'm not giving any spoilers. They tied in perfectly,
See,
but they're still making another one.
Oh, and another thing, they're making a new Saw.
Yeah,
another new song
Yeah.
coming out.
See, that's one that I
This will
could
be
get
8.
into.
No,
Oh no!
Is this 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
no, this will be 8.
This is
will be
8.
Why
This is
can't
8.
Hollywood make
3D.
a movie? Why can't they make an original movie instead?
3D
of
was
remake-
7. An original movie? There's original movies all the time.
Those are the
Every
ones.
movie
Those
we've
are the ones
talked
that go
about-
straight to DVD.
Every movie we've talked about here is a reboot. They're making another Indiana Jones.
But we're just talking about. That's the only reason because we're talking about it. Suicide Squad's not a reboot, is it?
No.
No,
Of a movie?
Deadpool?
Oh, no,
No.
that's
I do want to
gonna
see
be
that. I want to see Suicide
Deadpool's
see,
the original.
Deadpool. The funny thing about that, if you read about that movie, that script sat on somebody's desk for years.
Really?
They
Oh,
could have
yes.
made. I mean, it did. They had it
Well,
all wrote up and done and it
Because
just
everybody
sat
wanted
there.
it to change.
Well,
And
because
he
they
said,
didn't want
no,
the
I'm
rated
not
R.
fucking changing it.
They didn't want the rated R part.
Yeah.
and look what it made for them.
Well, see, that's
I'm
one of the
glad
big
they
things.
I'm going
waited.
to tell you what, though.
Highest
Ryan
grossing
Reynolds
movie
actually
ever.
was a perfect character.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah,
He
he's
played
the
that
one that
character.
wrote part of that.
He
When
fit it
said that
perfect.
on there.
But that was always the big thing with the Marvel DC stuff, the superhero stuff, is they didn't want it to get it was close, but they didn't want it to get too far over that line. And then when Deadpool came out,
They were
you
like,
know,
screw
They were
it.
like, you know what, we're just going to try something new. And man, I tell you what, they went after it.
Banged.
Yeah,
It banged.
highest grossing rated R movie ever.
All time.
Perfect.
Ever.
And, it, and
Now,
listen,
you know, the bad part about it is, too, there were so many people that come out with their kids 5
I know,
minutes
right?
into the movie saying,
Bad idea.
I can't believe you. You know what?
Fuck
They-
off. That's what I say.
They
It's
put
Deadpool.
that
Fuck
fucking
off.
rating on the damn screen for
Right.
a reason.
Yeah.
It's rated R. Don't take your 8-year-old kid to go see a movie that's
Just-
rated
yeah,
R
listen,
and then
just 'cause
bitch about it.
Just because it says Marvel, don't mean it. You got to look at the ratings.
see,
Rated R.
Ryan Reynolds even went on and made videos.
Yeah, he
and
did.
posted said, "Look,
Well, I think
do
even-
not yell at me because I'm telling you right now, do not take your children."
Well, and I
to
think
watch this
Darren,
movie."
you were the one of the first people that Darren was one of the first people that I knew that saw it, and he said, "Listen, whatever you do, don't take your kids to this. It's not Superman, it's not Batman, it's not Spider-Man. This is something completely different."
Well, there's a sword fight. Duh. You know.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Oh, it is a good movie.
You know, honestly, I think Batman's and those movies need to be more like.
Yes.
Well, see now they're
Like,
actually
I'm sorry,
talking about
there's death. Like, you're fighting.
There is, and they're actually starting to bring that in a little bit more on like the Batmans.
Well, they
and
saw
more
what
of the
Deadpool
Batmans
did.
than even like the
That's
They
Superman.
the
saw
only
how well
reason.
Deadpool was.
Well, you know what? I would love to see an A-Team movie that was like more like the Expendables, because that's listen. If you're out there,
In fact, I think The Expendables is a reboot of A-Team.
probably so. And listen, I'll tell you what, I love those Expendable movies just because
I did too.
Or,
Yeah, me
or
too.
like the last Rambo. I mean, you know, the Rambo. You have Rambo, the original
Yes,
Rambo. Okay,
yes.
take that all out. The last Rambo was my favorite. When
Mine
you could,
too.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, when you
people-
throw a baby in a fire?
Oh, listen, when
That's great stuff.
Listen, when he's on that, when he's using that 50 caliber and turning people into spaghetti. I mean, I'm like standing up, going, "Yeah, boy, turn them into spaghetti."
My favorite part of that movie was actually after he uses that 50 caliber. When he cuts that dude in half. Yeah, and you actually see his
Intestines.
his intestines is coming out, his hips start falling, then the top part of his body starts falling. You actually see a separation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh
It's
my
awesome.
God, that was it right there.
And there was a what was the
There was
not-
2 parts in that movie where I laughed out loud. Like,
What?
when nobody else, like, it was totally quiet. Like, the very beginning, when they have to run through the water, and the
Yeah.
dude just blows up out of
Oh,
nowhere.
I know.
You know how awkward it was at the midnight showing when everybody didn't do anything, and I was just like, "Ha!" like out loud because I thought that shit was hilarious. Like
dumbass.
he went up in the air so awkwardly, and it was just funny.
And I tell you, there was the was it the last Expendables where it started out where they were like in the castle prison kind of. No, the last Expendables was with the train, but
Yeah, that's where they was going.
maybe that was the one with the automatic shotgun when they're kind of pinned down and a dude comes down the hallway with the automatic shotgun and just tearing dudes apart. I mean, just bodies and legs and arms and heads and everything else going flying. For whatever reason, in my brain, I find that entertaining.
Well, yeah,
Oh yeah,
sure,
because
funny,
you're a
too.
guy. You got balls. That's good. I like
Yeah. I mean,
You got balls, you use
Coming
them.
from a guy that likes the new Ghostbusters movie, which is all female.
Good movie.
But then-
check it
Well,
out.
you got balls on
Ghostbusters.
one side,
Now,
no balls
don't
on
make
the other.
him do his Michael J. Fox impression from the
Oh.
social arc. Ah, there he goes. That's 10. 10, Todd. 10.
But then I watch, which I don't really necessarily think it's a great movie at all because I see a lot of flaws with it in the sense of not so much the story, but the cinematography, the filming of it was We Were Soldiers, right? Which is absolutely a true story.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this thing.
Based on true events.
No, it's pretty damn close. I was
Pretty
watching.
damn
I was
close.
watching.
Yeah, it is.
I was watching some stuff on YouTube because I was very interested in
You did
the
your
actual
homework.
story. Well, I mean, I just kind of saying was this because the movie itself is very traumatic, and I'm
Yes.
in the sense of me putting myself in perspective of those guys on the ground, right?
Very hard to watch.
Very hard in that sense, yeah. And I'm thinking, how true is this? I mean, when was it that prolific? Because this was the first time Americans came in contact with the North Vietnamese, right? And they were just trying this whole helicopter thing out and everything else. Find out it's actually pretty true, right?
Right.
But the movie itself, I'm thinking, it's okay. But when I went and watched the actual footage from '65 on YouTube, I mean the actual.
Yeah.
Then it's that much more because you can see there's a scene there towards the end where you see the Colonel
Yep.
Moore, right?
How more?
He kind of breaks down a little bit because he has to be strong in front of the guys, right?
Yes.
And then and when you watch the actual footage of it, that's that guy, and you can see that guy just with the relief that this particular part of his life is after seeing this shit for 3 days, it's over.
Yeah.
And it's brutal because you watch the movie and the movie's a movie, but then you watch and I would have never had that perspective
You see
watching
the
the news
actual
clip.
human side.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because I didn't really necessarily care for the movie, but the movie put me in perspective of what the reality of it was when I watched the actual clip, and then so now the movie that I really didn't like put me in the empathy of the guy that in reality, and I'm thinking it kind of complemented each other. So now I understand, sort of like a Saving Private Ryan thing.
Exactly.
That's a rough one. Right
Perfect
there.
example.
Hey, but anyway, you're listening to Rogan Radio. We have the guys from Real Shoot Wrestling in here.
Yay!
2 in a row!
We got
2
it right.
claps and a red flare.
We have Chapuccio in the studio. We have Darren, of course. We have Todd. We have Jeremy Duckworth, and we have Mark Coffey in the background there.
Tim the Hill Cross and John Starkey.
Yeah, I don't know why. I
Sorry
call
for
you,
John, guys. I
call you-
apologize. He gets excited.
Yeah, instead of calling you Todd and John, I just say the real wrestling, guys.
The Real Shoot Wrestling guys.
You know what?
The
I
shooters.
do that.
We're the shooters in the group.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
Look us up on the Facebook page, Stitcher.
RSW podcast.
Yes, sir.
RSW podcast.
Yes.
Okay,
And
so that's the actual name of the podcast then.
Well, it's Real Shoot Wrestling podcast on iTunes, but you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at RSW podcast.
Oh, gotcha. Very good. Very good.
Fantastic. So-
All right, we're going to
so
take a quick break. We're going to come back. We'll get into the podcast. We'll talk about the stuff that you guys do every week. And
sir.
then with that being said, you're listening to Rogan Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on Rogan Radio along with Todd Beck, Jeremy
Hey,
Duckworth,
how you doing?
Darren Hardman, Chad Puccio, and we have Todd, and we have John from the Real...
Todd and John.
You said me
Jeez
twice. man.
Louise, I
you said me
cannot
2
get-
times.
I think his name's Tim.
Tim...
The Hill. Tim Hill Cross.
I'm sorry, Tim.
Heel.
You know what?
H-E-L-L.
You know what? I was doing really good with the
That's
real. I was doing really good with real. I said pro all daggone night, and now I'm saying real. But now I'm calling Todd and Tim, Todd and Tim.
That's fine.
That's okay. I spelled the
Jeez
heel,
Louise.
H-E-L-L.
But anyway, we have you guys in the studio, and you have a podcast.
Yes,
Strangely enough, which is it's amazing how the voice can get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing who listens and where they listen from.
Honestly, we have people from Hong Kong and
Yeah, isn't that
China.
great? Isn't that great? I
It's
love
crazy.
that shit.
Actually our first wrestling interview was with the very first wrestling company that opened up in China.
Isn't that bizarre how that all works out?
And now they sent a guy that's in WWE right now in their tournament, their Cruiserweight Classic,
Ho Ho Loon.
the CWC. He's from there. He's one of the very first people to be in that country wrestling, which I don't know why, but in that country wrestling is looked at like, you work in, you're like, you work with porta potties, like,
Right,
like,
right.
So it's kind of looked down upon, but at the same time, it's just,
That's the
now it's starting to
CWC
build.
theme right there, baby. CWC theme right there. Boom!
What's the CWC?
Cruiserweight Classic.
Booyah! Now listen, do you guys? Are you purely when it comes to your podcast? Is it purely wrestling, or do you get into because there's a lot of different aspects now? Because just like with this Brock Lesnar, just because in Shamrock. They come from different backgrounds and things like that. So
Dan the Beast Severin. And
so you almost have to talk about,
we touch on it when it comes to it. Like we don't talk about UFC, and I'm very firm about not talking about UFC unless it has something to this type of situation, like Brock Lesnar, WWE, Bobby Lashley, TNA,
Yes, sir.
CM Punk.
TNA.
CM Punk.
I love
CM Punk.
me some TNA, boy.
Phillip Brooks is a piece of shit.
That's
CM
I liked him in WWE.
I know, but don't you like him in UFC? How he
hasn't fought yet?
How supposedly he was supposed to have a fight 30 years ago? Like, how many times do you get moved? He's going to be 45 by the time it's time to fight, and he's not going to be able to do it. Like, he's a fucking... I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway,
all right.
So Bobby, you got
Very
Bobby
nice.
Lashley in TNA. You have Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly and some of those guys from the Independents, ROH and PWG. And then you got there's a new one, and he actually started in UFC. His name's Matt Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He actually started in UFC. He's now a wrestler.
Yeah.
And what happened is in the middle of a match, it got too physical, and it became an actual, as we call it in pro wrestling, it became a shoot.
So it became real.
It became a real fight.
Shoot. Right, because that's what has been one thing that has always baffled me about pro wrestling is that it's very entertaining, and I love it for that. I love it for the characters. Now I know damn well there's a storyline, But I know daggone well there has to be, a lot of people say it's all fake. Well, you know what? It's probably where they know it's coming. But I'll tell you what, if somebody hits me the wrong way, I'm going to get pissed off about it, and I'm going to try and knock somebody's teeth out. I'm not going to take it.
Okay, so my broken ribs 3 times, the many sprained ankles, messed up joints, broken toes, broken nose, none of that was fake.
Broken heart.
And I've done it. I do it now.
Right.
And I also have many friends that's doing it now. So the word fake, which isn't really appreciated from a lot of people.
Sure.
I understand people's way of thinking about it. I get it. But what's funny to me are those are the same fucking people, that's no offense, watching the comic book movies and reading the comics.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that
see where he was going with that.
And it's like and if I can bring it up, how the fuck are you going to make fun of me for watching pro wrestling when your ass is on an app walking around looking for fucking Pikachu? I do not know.
Pikachu.
But
turn in your man
but that's
card
always
now.
been
Exactly.
That's always been the big thing about wrestling is that people. I mean, and I watch wrestling and I love it, for. It's more or less like the RKO. I love the finishing moves for one. RKO. But I can tell you this: there's a difference when I watch it without having any roots to it. There's a difference. You can see a professional, and you can see somebody trying to be one. Like Randy Orton, he doesn't excite me when he talks, like say The Rock does, perchance. But when I see the RKO stuff, I'm like, now, damn, no, I like that guy. And every once in a while, you'll get those certain dudes say, like, I guess The Rock or see, Triple H never really excited me because I remember him when he was with when he was with the Greenwich Boys and all that junk. I'm thinking, come on, man, Shane McMahon. You know what? He puts his balls out there. Now I like that though, but I do like Shane McMahon because that guy, he's a company guy.
he is, but he's, to be just blunt, WWE is not the reason why I watch wrestling.
Right.
And that's pretty much everybody you just brought up. Randy Orton, can't fucking stand.
Right.
I can't stand him. He's boring.
The Viper.
He's a boring wrestler. Like, I'm sorry, but I love the sport of pro wrestling, what it is. I loved it when Vern Gagne, back in the day, I loved it when it was the Nature Boy, the original
San
Nature
Martino.
Boy. San Martino never got into him. But you have people like shit. Now I'm just brain farting here. You had Superstar Billy Graham. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
You had Dusty Rhodes. You had
Dream Baby.
You had.
I got.
Yeah, baby. Let me tell you right now, baby.
You see the hard times? It's hard times.
Hard times.
I got to throw a tag
I've dined with
team
kings
in
and
there.
queens and under
But
bridges.
those were my
Orca
big
means.
ones. Those were my big ones. I like the sport of pro wrestling. I'm more down south. I'd rather.
WCW.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Who's Chad? Who are you going to say?
I was going to say I have to throw a tag team in there. Chicago boys,
Road Warriors.
the Road Warriors,
The Road Warriors.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I don't know why.
the Rock
but
and
that's-
Roll Express,
Yes.
the Midnight Express.
Rock and
Yes,
Roll
sir.
Express.
Let me tell you something. They
See,
had
that's
some
back
matches
when I
that, let me
watched
tell you, there was nobody that should have survived some of these things.
You want to hear some awesome stories about the Rock and Roll Express? I actually learned a lot of shit from Ricky Morton myself. There's actually been times where me and my trainer traveled in the car with Ricky Morton, and literally just listening to his stories are fascinating to me.
Right.
But a buddy of mine, he went up and he was like, "Hey Ricky, how can I learn to sell? Like, how can I make it look more real? Like, it's hurting me." Ricky stops the car. Like I said, this is his story, but he's not here to tell it. Ricky stops the car, gets out of the car, goes to the back of the car, and goes, "Hey, you want to know how to sell? Come here." He fucking punched him right in the goddamn mouth.
He's like, that's how you sell it.
He goes, "Fuck, man, that hurt." And he goes, "Well, you do that next time I act like I hit you, or I'm gonna fucking hit you in the mouth."
I'll act like that.
That's the old school for me. That's what I
Right.
like. But like you've said before, you have people like Roman Reigns. They don't know what the fucking road's like. They don't know what independent wrestling's like.
They believe in the hall pass.
They don't know. They don't know what it's like to be on the road for 9 hours. Then you get out and you go in a gym. 50 people show up. You get 2 hot dogs and a fucking smile, and it's like, hey, well, you got experience.
Well, it'd be the same thing as, like, say, if you play minor league baseball, for example. You could go through the whole process, single A, double A, triple A, never make it to the majors, but that one day you go. And then the day that you go, you see all these guys that have been here the whole time, say like an A-Rod. And you're like, you have no idea how spoiled you are because you don't appreciate the game. You appreciate the money. You appreciate the fame. But you don't appreciate the game.
Yeah, well, it's like they never paid their dues, right?
Exactly, that's what it is.
They
It's
never
paying
paid
your
their
dues.
Terry Funk.
Roman Reigns don't know what a fucking
Right,
do
He
is.
paid his dues.
Right.
Mick Foley paid his dues.
Mick Foley started his first match.
Don't leave me hanging, Chad.
I heard that. I heard
At the Clarksburg
Nathan Golf
Armory.
Armory.
I heard
I saw
Mick
him
Foley
out
did
there.
that.
He actually had a wrestling match with a guy. I forget his real name, but at the time he was going by the Red Rooster.
Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor. That's who it
Dang
was.
on right.
Let me tell you
Rooster.
something. That was a match right there. The Mick Foley going over and his trademark at the time, he would go in and he brought it to the WWE when he brought Cactus Jack in.
Cactus Jack.
He would come in and they'd throw him towards the ropes, and next thing you know, he'd be dangling on the outside of the ring with the ropes around his neck.
Oh yeah, that was he talked about that, and that's how he fucking lost his ear.
Yeah, he ripped
Oh,
half
is that
of his,
how that is?
Yeah,
Is that
he
how
ripped
that
half his
happened?
ear off doing
No
that.
shit.
He took the spot and he put his head in between the ropes, and they were tighter than what they usually are.
Right.
Because he usually goes out and tests them. Well, that night they had tightened them after he had tested them. So he
Yeah.
went out there and did it and got stuck, and then next thing you know,
Boom, and there goes his
there
ear.
goes the ear.
Joke, dude.
Yeah, the top half of his ear was
Well, now
completely gone.
since like I say, I'm watching it from my perspective. I didn't watch WCW. I was always like a WWF guy, like George the Animal Steel
Oh yeah.
or
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Sergeant
That
Slaughter,
Junkyard
the
Dog
Iron
was-
Sheik, those
Iron
kind of guys.
Sheik,
I
yeah.
love that stuff, right?
The original giant.
Absolutely, Andre.
Yes, sir.
And
I've got some awesome Sheik stories too. Iron Sheik.
and he's in bad shape.
No, that's not the original giant.
That's some
That's
bullshit.
That's the big
That's
show.
the big slow.
That's the big slow.
But like,
Whoa, sorry.
but like when it comes to
Yeah, you're talking about
Todd, that's
real
number
wrestling
12,
fans.
okay?
like the
It's
Iron
12.
Sheik, there's a lot of talk right now about NFL, about how they have forgotten the guys that when they weren't getting paid and the NFL wasn't nearly as big with the TV contracts. Now they all have concussions. Like Mike Webster from Pittsburgh, for example, the guy was just absolutely devastated as far as concussions go. Sort of like the Iron Sheik, right? Because he's beat to hell, right? I mean, he put it out there and he made McMahon a lot of money.
His documentary, the Iron Sheik's documentary, when he was like relapsing and going through his addiction and the demons of it, and when he was going through the indie circuit, he would be so lit up from drugs or something, and it was just sad to watch him. And then fast forward to Jake Snake's documentary, which I hugely recommend. I mean, it shows the ugly side of addiction, and they go through a lot to just.
Well, that's what I mean.
that one was hard to watch for me because when you're a kid and you see your dad enjoying something, automatically becomes your favorite
Right.
thing,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
That was
your
my
dad's
dad's.
your hero,
That was
you
my
know.
dad's. Jake the Snake Roberts. He loved him. He loved him. So automatically, I love Jake the Snake Roberts too, Dad. So I paid attention to him. His promos were amazing because you had to shut up and listen because
right.
he was quiet, kept to himself, got you eye contact, caught you, not instead of like Ultimate Warrior and fucking screaming at you all the time. he
That's
even
it right
knows
there.
what he's talking about, But he went in there and he's like straightforward, quiet. You paid attention.
Right.
Like I said, eye contact. It was amazing. And then his ring work, he could tell a story in that ring like no other.
It's good.
And then when you're just that good and you go 100% all the time, there's the fact that, well, I don't want to be tired right now, or I'm just hurting so bad because I'm doing this, over 300,
Sure, you're getting your
300
ass
times a
beat.
year. You're doing it 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Right.
At that time,
There's
that's
that-
how it was.
There's that.
Well,
demon
you've
price
also
that comes
not
with
only
it.
do you have that addiction to the painkillers or the alcohol or whatever, but you got an addiction to what the people give
That
you.
rush.
Yes.
That
And
rush
so you
that
can't be
get
away
when
from
you
it.
come
And that's
out
what-
of that entryway.
Yeah.
And when you leave it, you want that again, and you can't get that again, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. So that's why they just keep putting more in, until you get to the fact of where it's like, oh shit, it's too far gone, and I'm too far in to step away, and now it just goes downhill.
You know, a guy I never really heard talk too much, but I always thought he was pretty cool. Is Ricky the Steamboat?
Ricky the Dragon.
Yeah.
Stick?
Oh,
Dragon,
yeah.
baby.
You know what? I don't remember that guy talking too much, but I can remember him flying around all over the place.
The only thing, yes, but the only thing I really remember from him big time was when he did talk. It was weird. He usually had like the dragon with him, or he had his family in the picture, and it was just like, Ric Flair, I'm coming to beat you. And then he walked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was about it, right?
And that was it. And he is so good, but literally you cannot put him even. I'm sorry, and this is just me. You can't even put him in the top 20 of all time because he was never a bad guy.
Right, I mean,
he was
yeah.
always the face. He
You
was always
could-
the face.
A
You couldn't
good
turn him.
wrestler has been a heel at one time. or
Yes.
They
Now
kind
I'm
of-
not saying he's not a good wrestler.
They kind of adapt. They kind of adapt to what the people want, though, because just like, and that's I think that's one of the problems that Cena has is that Cena, he has this, he has the body, he can fight, but he has this vision in his head or his character that he wants to be that he doesn't morph enough, I think, and it becomes
He
to me.
can't.
He doesn't need to.
The thing is, he
That's what
can't because of the merchandise, the almost 500 Make-A-Wish things that he does.
I think you
If
can't.
he turns heel, he
I
gets
think you
screwed.
can't. You can and you can't. You can and you can't. You could do it. Yeah, you could do it.
he
You
could
turned
do
Hulk Hogan heel. You
Right.
can fucking do it.
That was the most brilliant thing of Hulk
You turned Hulk
Hogan's
Hogan
career.
heel.
Yeah. That was
You
the
can
best
turn
thing
John
ever.
Cena heel, and I got an awesome story about that.
You think Hogan's gonna come back?
No.
You don't think? You don't think he?
First of all, he can't. Second
think
of
he
all,
will.
why the hell would he? Has over $100 million.
Oh, I think he absolutely will.
He might come back and talk, but that's about it.
Yep.
But when it comes to John Cena, he doesn't have to turn heel. I mean, literally every time he's on TV, it's let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Let's go.
Well,
Cena.
he's polarizing.
He doesn't have to move anywhere because the way it is here is, if you look at it, is like he said, merch sales, insane. Now the Make-A-Wish, that doesn't matter because Bray Wyatt
Come on.
makes wishes, and he's fucking crazy,
Yeah,
or at
he
least
is.
that's what everybody wants.
Right, I mean, that's his
what they-
character.
that's what they
Right,
want
right,
you
You know,
right.
so
But it's
And
easier
Kevin-
to publicize
Kevin
John
Owens,
Cena.
Kevin
Yes.
Owens has even done Make-A-Wish
Right.
and actually filled in for John Cena, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. For that one
John
time.
Cena didn't come, and Kevin Owens filled in.
Oh man, I read that.
So,
blog, yeah.
so good and bad can do that, but the sales wise, you have women and children, and if anybody that's in any type of entertainment at all, that's all you need to appeal to. You know why?
That's right.
Because dudes with any type of dick,
Ain't going to spend the money for that shit.
are going to go where
That's
chicks
your rhyme, kids.
are going
No,
to
it's
go.
like ladies' night. It's
are
ladies'
gonna
night.
Are going to go where chicks are.
It's ladies' night.
And chicks are cheering for him. So you take your girlfriend. What's your girlfriend want? Your girlfriend wants a John Cena shirt.
You're gonna buy it.
Exactly.
Well, and your
'Cause
kid,
But
your
he
kid
likes-
wants
Your
that shirt.
kid,
You're
your,
gonna buy
your
it.
kid wants a John Cena shirt, a John Cena hat, a John Cena sweatbands, John Cena shoelaces, John Cena shoes. He's got shorts. John Cena has everything.
mean jorts.
And the kids want it.
Yeah.
And the kids want it, and the women want it.
Is he like the biggest merchandise? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
is he like the merchandise of WWE right
in
now?
the
At this time?
No, at this time, no.
He's got a net worth of
beating him
about
now?
$35 million right now. And then John Cena net worth.
I'm not
Boom.
saying he's not worth a bunch
Right.
of money, but right now he's not as big as everybody
Who's-
thought he was. It's just like still thinking. All right, it's like thinking a certain team is still really good just because of their shit from back in the
But
day.
you know, that's the thing. Like right now, because WWE, I give it to McMahon because he bought up WC. He's basically buying out the competition more or less.
Making
which
a
was
monopoly.
which is a good move, but also a stupid fucking move.
Well, I mean,
The controversy
have-
made things better.
If you have no
Exactly.
competition pushing you to strive,
but
what the hell is there?
Isn't that why they brought Owens in? Is because it was like it's the same company, but I mean, when you bring Kevin in, he's like from a different place, but it's the same place.
but see, a lot of people don't realize this, but everybody that's worth a shit right now is from that same place.
Right.
Yes.
You have Seth Rollins
Yes.
and Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
You have Sami Zayn. You have Dean Ambrose is not from that one. He's from the more hardcore version of it. It's CZW.
Yes.
He's
But-
an ass kicker, though.
Dean Ambrose, I like that guy.
I like Dean Ambrose, man.
I've worked shows with him, not, like on the same show with him. I haven't worked him, but I worked on the same shows with him, and he's exactly the person you see. on
Really?
TV.
I mean,
he's just like
he sells it, man.
He's just like to himself, and he's just always cracking jokes and shit. But like when it's serious time, it's serious time.
Right. He knows the
That's
business.
so cool. That's so cool.
Yes, yeah, he really does. And you know him. You have Neville. He's hurt right now, but he's out. Like I said, you got KO. You got I don't know how much NXT you guys watch, if at all.
Yeah, not
But
really.
you have the Bobby Roode from TNA. You have Hideo Itami from ROH and New Japan. You have Nakamura
Shinsuke, yeah.
from ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's like Triple H has more pull now in the
does.
back, and that's the only thing he's doing good.
Well, now here's something.
Are you playing Bailey?
Now here's something.
That's Bailey.
Here's something. Now here's
She's on NXT.
Here's a question. You mentioned everything. Like say a lot of Japanese wrestling. That must be a new. I mean, that's the next big thing.
No, that's been around just as long as
I'm
you've
kind of
been
wondering.
watching.
You know what? You know a wrestling style that I love. I love Mexican wrestling.
Lucha Libre.
Listen, because those guys dress up and they're exciting.
they fly
now,
everywhere.
That stuff to me. Now, I mean, it's amazing to me the stuff that those guys can do. It's absolutely amazing to watch it.
I like watching the American version of Lucha Libre.
Also known
It's kind of like Taco Bell.
Right.
It's like it's fast paced, but there's more rules involved.
Right.
Like to explain the difference. Okay, if you have a tag match and it's Lucha Libre style in America and there's Lucha Libre style in Mexico, if we're tagging against these two and we work a match and I knock him out of the ring, he can officially just walk in and be a part of the match.
Okay.
America, if I knock him out of the ring, it doesn't fucking matter. He still has to get back inside.
So it's still
Get back
and
inside
tag
to
him.
still tag
And
him.
tag him.
Right.
It's
It's
his hand on a rope.
so there's some different.
There's like a
moves.
hybrid in.
Another thing, and this is revealing some stuff. Mexico, they don't give a shit. You work whatever side, left or right, left
Right.
or right arm, whatever fucking arm you grab, whatever leg you grab, you go. America, you're just supposed to work one side. So it's easier to know, like if you slam me and I get up, I know what side to feed towards you to go into the next thing.
I got you.
So it's a knowing thing to where it's easier to flow.
Right.
But Mexico,
It's also safer that way.
yeah, way safer. I mean, it's always way safer if you all have common sense and know how to go into the next thing, just like with any other job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's one of the things that's different between Mexico and American wrestling. There's way more, but that's just a small thing. Like the mask is a huge deal, and like almost everybody has one.
Right. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
Mexico.
the hell, they're like dressed as bees and all kinds of crazy shit.
And what else is there's cartoon versions of them, and there's cartoon Saturday shows, and there's sitcoms, and the same thing with Japan, but it's not so fast. It's more physical, which is why I like New Japan and Japan in general wrestling. The costumes are huge. Like one of my favorite of all time, and I think everybody would know this, like who this is, but the Great Muta.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This first time I saw a color shoot out of his mouth during a match, I was captivated. Boom. I was in, and I just watched everything he did from that point on. He's done entry and intros and all types of stuff, and he used to do the paint. Now he does a mask. Like it's evolved, but it's that showmanship that's cool. It's that rock star Rob Halford, like over the topness that's awesome. But at the same time, when you get in the ring, it's pro wrestling. It's not, you have the show part like WWE, but when you get in the ring, here's two football players that used to be football players, and now we trained them to wrestle.
See, that's one thing. Now, I'll say this about WWE. One thing that they have about Raw, they have the crowds, which excites. It's fire burning fire, or smoke burning.
I was at the last taping.
When I hear those cheers and how some of these cities they have these great listen, that's just exciting, and I'm sure it's exciting for the wrestlers just as much as it is for the people, and it feeds off each other, right? I mean, it's exciting. But they had the fireworks, they had the big lights, right? So then you go to the NXT. Now, there's a lot of promo, the walkout and all of that stuff. They're selling themselves. It's a little bit more dependent on, say, the wrestler per chance.
Doesn't it make you think of like old school WCW
It
Saturday night?
That's exactly what I'm
605?
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that
I know what you're saying.
605
right
on
there.
TBS.
Yeah, and it's exactly what it does, right? And then I started thinking about, okay, well, when you start getting down to now, say like the armories, local stuff, you don't have the fireworks, you don't have the big screens, you don't have. It's all about you selling yourself. So when you go through those stages and you learn how to become the personality, then all of a sudden, when you learn how to feed the crowd and you figure out what it's taking and the crowds are getting excited, then all of a sudden you have the fireworks and lights behind you. Then all of a sudden, you know what, you're giving people boners.
And that right there, and you just explained it yourself, that's why no one gives a shit about Roman Reigns.
Because he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
He
He didn't go.
He didn't figure it out.
He didn't work on his
clue.
wrestling. He didn't work on his talk. He didn't travel the road. He didn't listen to the stories from.
He just has the look.
He just has the look and the family.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't. Just because you get up there and run your mouth doesn't mean you're going to be. You know,
And he does a piss poor job of doing that.
Well, he's not good on the mic.
He doesn't even know how to run his mouth.
When it comes to wrestling, in my opinion, anyway, a lot of it has to do with the actual wrestling, but a lot of it has to do with how you feed. Right? If the crowd doesn't like you, then you're not going to be shit.
Nope, you
because
won't make it.
There's just something about you have to make me excited to make me say go kick his ass.
Because they know you're going to go buy his stuff. If you love this guy, you're going to go buy.
Kids love his glove, and they sell his glove.
Well,
But, I mean,
they're
but
trying like hell.
That's
to
what
get
I'm
him
saying.
People
No,
to love him. They're trying.
women, and kids love Roman Reigns,
When Roman Reigns comes on, I go take a piss.
Yeah,
I could care less.
and I understand.
I really don't
I
care.
liked him with the Shield. That right when he was
because
with
you
the
had
Shield,
Dean
he was the
Ambrose and
enforcer.
Seth Rollins' baby in him.
He was the guy that didn't say nothing, and he just beat the shit out of people.
He was the enforcer.
Exactly.
Okay,
Hey,
so
hey,
he took
hey.
a page out of.
Hey, no! Don't you say it! Don't you say it! That's number 2 on my list, and Arn Anderson is better than Ric Flair, and I will take that to the grave.
I'll agree with you on that. Ric Flair was a lot of flash.
Yes,
Double A.
He was a lot of flash. Double A was the man that got the job done.
he's the meat and potatoes of the Horsemen. But what I was going to say was, the best person to also explain somebody that just didn't have the character to get over with people because they didn't get it, but was amazing talent in the ring, like would have been great if they would have pushed him like a Roman Reigns, is Lance Storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lance Storm was
From
a
Canada,
technical guy.
and all these and everybody that's freaking out and going crazy about all these good women wrestlers now, they can thank Sarah Del Rey, which is from ROH, the best female wrestler of probably all time. She, and still young and could go, but she's the trainer in NXT. And most of them that they're pulling to NXT to come to the Performance Center are from Lance Storm's camp in Canada.
You know, when I watch, like, say that
So you have amazing talents teaching these people.
when I watch, like, I don't know what do they even call the chicks that wrestle now? They're like the
They're
the
women.
babies or-
They're women wrestlers.
they
Or
were.
they
well,
were
I mean,
superstars.
what the divas or whatever the hell they call them into the
That
the
word's not
WWE.
allowed anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yes,
They had to
that's a
change
swear
it.
word. That's a
Oh.
swear word.
That's
They had to change it.
That's a swear word.
But see, you know, my problem with that is that they're trying to sell me wrestling, which I like, as a piece of ass, and I don't care about that. I want to see like
When
something.
you're watching wrestling, you don't want to actually think about sex at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Those two things, it's like oil
don't-
and water. For
I want-
some
I want
reason,
some-
they're not mixing quite right.
I want something with substance, and I'm like saying, okay, well, that's like putting Britney Spears up there. I could watch that on YouPorn. I don't need that right here. I want to watch wrestling right now.
No, but at the same time, like in it's different. And anybody with computers in front of them right now, if you check out, like I said, New Japan Pro Wrestling with the women, they beat the living shit out of
That's
each
what
other.
I'm talking
That's
about.
what
That's
I'd
what I
rather
want to
see.
see.
It's worse than the men because the women. I mean, think about it in general. They're more ruthless.
They're vicious.
They're
Vicious.
ruthless in general.
They're heartless.
And then whenever you tell them, "Hey, go be ruthless to each other," they beat the piss out of each other. Like I went to one show, and this girl knocked the other girl out. They were just working a match. and she did a backhand. Boom, knocked her out. Boom,
Dang.
just out.
Well, listen, we've been talking daggone well over an hour now, so we're going to call it that. We're going to have you guys back if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, because we could
totally.
talk about this forever. Once again, Chad in the studio. We have Jeremy. We have Todd. We have Darren over there. Darren, flip that over to you. Say hi. There, yeah.
I'm still here.
We had the Real Shoot Wrestling guys. Okay, John and Tim. Yay! See?
You got the name right. You got our names right.
First time all night.
We might as well not go off the show because you might mess this up.
And on behalf of
tomorrow he'll
Duggar,
forget.
I got my own name wrong.
So yeah,
to go,
there has to be a
Rogan.
part 2 that we got to come back and talk.
Oh, no,
No
absolutely.
offense to John, but let's be honest. John's not on the podcast. He's just on the page with me.
Hey, listen, John, didn't you need
So
to
next
come?
time, me, John, and Gabe
Yes.
Jones, the one that does the podcast with me,
Okay.
he also just wanted me to say his name on here. So.
Yes, he needs a shout
Give
out.
him a
shout
shout-out, man.
Shout out to Gabe
Give him a
Jones.
shout-out.
Gabe Jones. Logan.
My God, that sounded like
That was the meanest shit I've
shit.
heard.
I was looking for Satan coming around here. You know what? We were talking about those horror movies earlier, and I
Yeah.
can do hack and slashes, but the demonic movies what scares the hell out of me. That sounded pretty damn demonic.
But yeah, shout out.
Thank you.
He's gonna be sleeping with his
So
lights
ain't going
on
to hell
tonight.
tonight.
I
Oh my
guarantee
gosh.
you.
Okay, before we go any further, can someone give me their top pick for their for the draft coming on Tuesday? Who's your number one pick for what show?
If you have a wrestler and you can pick for your brand, who do you pick?
Oh man, that's tough.
Okay, here's another one too. Tell me which show you want. Do you want Raw or SmackDown, and who your first
I'm a
pick
Raw
is?
guy.
Okay.
Who do you want?
Honestly, I mean, you ain't gonna like this. I'm a Randy Orton guy.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, see, I'm all about Raw myself.
When we come back, I want to talk about Randy Orton some more because that leads into the situation with Brock.
Oh yeah, because he's
Really?
he's
SummerSlam's
supposed to
coming
fight
up.
SummerSlam.
What?
It's
Randy
supposed to
Orton's
be.
supposed to fight.
It's
Brock
supposed
at
Wasn't going to
SummerSlam.
go about Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, how would
Yeah.
you like to come back from 9 months of injury? And hey, welcome back. You got to wrestle that beast, the guy that's like 6'4", 280 pounds.
Huh.
Yeah.
And supposedly on roids, but we'll talk about that more when we come back.
And
right?
he has some great stories, and he had a talk
Uh-oh.
with.
I also had a podcast interview with Kevin Sullivan, and he is the one, which is an amazing story. But he is actually the one that was with Woman before she got with Chris Benoit.
Oh yeah.
That was a question I had.
So
about
no, I can
all
answer anything because he answered them. It was kind of over the top, but I didn't ask this question, so he doesn't think I'm a dick.
I
He
really
doesn't
don't
think it
care.
does,
Everybody
right?
knows I am.
I'll
ask the question.
But to also, go back to what we were talking about before, he's the actual one that decided to take Hogan heel. And he told me all about it. It's awesome.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to keep that for next time then.
Yes, we got booked that ASAP.
Amen. That's pretty good, man. That's good stuff right there.
sir.
All right,
Real
once
Shoot-
again, Real Shoot Wrestling. You guys are on iTunes and Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud,
Facebook,
wherever,
Instagram.
Facebook, wherever you can find
Twitter.
it. Just about like Rogan Radio, wherever it is.
It's either, pretty much. It's, so whenever you get on any social media that you're on, check out Rogan Radio and Real Shoot Wrestling.
Absolutely. When you going to be hitting the ring next?
As of right now, that is
To be determined.
It is an unknown thing because there are some things in the background going on.
Okay.
And
All right.
I'm also busy with other things as
Yeah,
well.
we got
do
TJ
the
Family
thing.
guy. Family
Yeah,
life.
we do that too.
We
do
got
that too.
TJ Phillips, our one of our.
My
Yes.
trainer, he's also on the page. And for anybody that watches ROH, Jason Kincaid is
Yes,
also
sir.
on our page and is a friend of mine and was trained by TJ Phillips as
And
well.
he's from
He
New
was-
River Gorge, West Virginia.
Oh,
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, he's from the Oak Hill, New River Gorge
How-
area, and he was just on ROH last week, and he won the Ultimate 8
How often do you
tournament
get
in Mexico.
How often do you get into the ring?
How often do I?
Just like to play around.
Whenever somebody calls me and says they want to pay me money.
That's a good time to go.
Yes,
I was
sir.
saying,
There's been years between. There's been months. There's been.
See, I was thinking this would be a great video we could make. That
Hey,
you beat the shit out of Todd.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm
you
sitting
know
here
that-
minding my own
Oh,
business. 'cause
sorry.
I don't know nothing about
Sorry.
wrestling.
It all started with that fish shake, Todd.
I'll
Listen, Chad's gonna bring Jeremy's gonna play the announcer.
I'll play the riff. I'll work it.
John will be the announcer, and then Chad can he can be the concession guy.
My God, he broke him in half.
Perfect. And then Todd can play the guy that gets his ass beat.
Appreciate
None of them's going to compare to good old JR though.
My God, no, it ain't.
I don't know about that, man. I love JR, but you're picking Bobby the Brain Heenan over him. You're picking him over Gorilla Monsoon.
Man.
You know what?
I
was actually a Mean Gene Okerlund fan myself.
You're picking him over Mean
I love Mean Gene.
I like Mean Gene.
I always thought Mean Gene should be like on WTAE or something. Gordon Weather or something.
Gordon Soley.
Oh, see, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Gordon, man, that's it right there.
Yeah, see, that's good stuff.
You got
And
Gordon
you know,
Sully.
he still has a restaurant somewhere in West Virginia, like in the I forget which county it was.
Yep. I don't know
I
the
didn't
county,
know that.
Somewhere-
but
I don't know if
he
it's
has
somewhere in
he
Tucker
has a
or-
restaurant.
No kidding. We'll
Yes,
find
sir.
that out. Let's go down there.
Fuck yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
awesome.
Road
Road
trip.
trip.
All right. Hey, and until next time, you guys are listening to Rogan Radio.